My name is Zafrir. I'm representing the Ministry of Economy, and I'm currently heading the Emerging Markets and Development Finance Department at the Ministry. Previously, I was Israel's economic representative in Vietnam, so I have a great affection to East Asia as well as South Asia. Currently, our Foreign Trade Administration, the department I belong to, is the department at the Ministry of Economy in charge of strengthening economic relations between Israel and the world, and also assisting you, the Israelis in the audience, to do business in those markets. And today we have a very special session. Can you hear me well? Because I hear myself 4 times. Terrible echo. Today we have a very special session. We will look at 2 markets that may seem very different from each other. On the one hand, Japan, a highly developed country of around 180 million, 200 million, depends on recent counts. 180 million, an island. And on the other hand, India, 1.2 million, rapidly developing a subcontinent by itself. And it seems that these 2 countries face different trends, different challenges. But I think that today, and through the speakers, the presentations of the speakers that you will meet, I think you can find some common ground between these 2 countries. And I think that we can offer you today a very interesting perspective on education trends in those markets. And I think that the fact that I'm here on stage is actually very relevant, because what we are trying to do today is to help you get to those markets, help you get to know those markets, help you think together with you whether you can do business, whether you can work with in these countries, or maybe bring something from there to here. Without further ado, we will start. We basically have 3 parts for this session today. The first part will focus on Japan, then we will focus on India, and we will spend the last 10 or 15 minutes for a more of an open discussion. And actually, it's a great advantage that we have a small audience, mid-sized audience, because we can have really an in-depth discussion on the topics that are of most interest to you. I would like to invite our guests from Japan. First and foremost, the Director of Education Service Offices of the Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry from Japan, Mr. Daisuke Asano. Thank you very much for coming. Please. And Mr. Norihisa Wada, the Executive Vice President and CMO of EduLab. Please, thank you very much for coming. Yeah, stage is yours. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. My name is Norihisa Wada. I come from a company called EduLab. And today, for the Japan session, I'll be probably doing like 5 to 7 minutes introducing the educational trends in Japan. And switch to the main presenter, which is Mr. Asano. And he'll be probably explaining the policies of EdTech around Japan. All right, so let us begin. So before going into my presentation, just a little bit about us. We're based in Tokyo, Japan. We're mostly famous for providing assessment solutions. You know, each learning, each education needs an outcome. How do you assess the outcome? Especially these exponential days, a lot of things that we need to learn changes very fast. And also, to assess the effectivity of the policies and what you've done needs to change and adapt to it. So this is the solution that our company provides. Now, going back to our relationship with Israel, we have invested into two Israeli companies. Probably you all know. One is Speaking Power, and the other is CodeMonkey. And other relationship in terms of Israel is we host the regional Japan competition for GESA Awards. And happily, last year, Japan won the global GESA Awards. And also, this is my picture with Yaki. I've been here 3 times from the beginning, last year and this year. So this is our Israeli relationship in terms of EdTech ecosystem. And now, looking at the size of EdTech in Japan and the market growth, this is pretty much the market size. In 2015, it's estimated to be like, sorry, it's hard to see, 1.141 billion USD market, and expected to grow in about 1.5 times by the year 2020. Compared to the global growth, it's still, not exponential, but it's growing. And also, we did do a survey of number of EdTech companies that are currently in Japan. It's roughly about 250 to 300, and we're expecting these companies, startups, to grow as well. And one unique part about the EdTech startups in Japan is some of these EdTech startups, although you call startups, are within the large companies. It's like a R&D project of a large company, and it spins out after they have a substantial growth. And the trends that we see around the EdTech market in Japan is all focused at this moment for year 2020. And year 2020 is the year of Tokyo Olympics. So, of course, there's a huge college entrance exam reform that's going on. That's going to drive the innovation around the education, as well as there is a huge reform that trickles down to elementary schools in terms of programming. Another is English learning. And also for admission offices, for university and college entrance exams, more and more focus on non-cognitive skills. It used to be subjective skills, but now we're looking at 21st century skills. How do we measure these non-cognitive skills? And also, by the year 2020, digital textbooks will come on board, and this is expected to grow, but we're still yet to see. And also, fully online and computer-based testing will come on 2020. This is also to measure the non-cognitive skills. Sometimes tests, you can bring in internet, you can bring in a digital book, you can bring in books itself, but it will capture how you are solving the problem. So all this is a trend that's focused for year 2020. And this is my last quote. Look to the east, look to Japan. And this is a picture of a national 400 meters relay team of Japan. So ready, set, go. And we're happy to be here. And anyone interested in Japan ecosystem in terms of EdTech, please let us know. I have time after this presentation. Thank you.
Hi, nice to meet you. My name is Daisuke Asano, Director for Education Service Office, Ministry of Economy and Industry. As Wada-san said, the year of 2020 is a very important turning point for Japanese education reform. Many things will happen in the year of 2020. But my presentation is, the role of public education and private education service was almost the same. Used to be almost the same. Both education, public education and private education, both provided uniformed, and diligent worker and citizen to the society, economy, and industry. This is the role of education in the modern industrial society. But we are facing a new society, economy, and an industry which features the era of VUCA, volatility, uncertainty, and complexity and ambiguity. And we are also facing the fourth industrial revolution. And in such a situation, we need to rearrange, restructure the whole education system using EdTech, powered by EdTech, and in order to provide new types of citizens and creative workers through personalized creative learning. So this is an image we would like to pursue, we would like to aiming at to build. The learner-centric social system of education. That learners should be supposed to be the center. This means learners supposed to choose their own learning from a lot of alternatives. Today, all the students need to go to schools every day. They need to be at school at 8 a.m. and to need to be there till 3 p.m. And then most of the students goes to cram school or some other private education services after school, and including a public education, not only private education services, learners should choose their classrooms and the teachers and STEAM and then project and the subject based on their own will and interest. The keyword in our education reform is 3 points. I would like to point out 3 points. Learning and productivity. That Japan should enhance the learning productivity for all. And we would like to make personalized subject learning system and personalized STEAM project-based learning system. So learning productivity is very, very simple notion. We need to maximize the value of acquired ability, and we need to minimize the time and the effort taken for it. The EdTech can minimize the time spent for subject learning, and the STEAM learning can be expanded using the time cut by EdTech. And this is an image of STEAM learning and ideal project-based learning in the future. This is what some Japanese science teacher says. His analogy is making hamburger. He says that Japanese education is like this. In the first period, okay, let's bake a band, let's bake a bread. Okay, in the first period. In the second period, let's make a tomato, delicious tomato. In the third period, let's make a tasty cheese without knowing what the goal is. That as a teacher says, students follow the direction of the teachers. In the first period they make bread, and in the second period they make tomato without no goal. But let's change the directions. Okay, if at the beginning of the class, if teacher gives the students, let's make the world's best hamburger. The topics can be broken down to many subjects, various subjects of the secondary school level, including biology, geography, mathematics, design, and etc. I think this is a really active learning and a project-based learning. But we currently, the Japanese teacher and Japanese school doesn't have such a program. They're starting from the project, and broken down into the subject. So that's why we are going to start a pilot project in order to build a cycle, starting from the personalized interest and the will, and doing the STEAM project-based learning first, and going to the integrated knowledge cluster, which means the adaptive learning using EdTech. the project first, and the secondary going into the subject learning. We would like to make this cycle. The announcement, this is an announcement of a pilot project named the METI Learning Innovation Project. This is a fully government-sponsored project and practically 5-year program from this year. That each project will last 2 to 3 years, and approximately 20 to 30 projects will be adopted. It can cover from K to 12, and it also covers recurrent education. And the Japanese school or private educational institutions are supposed to be involved as a living lab, like a class laboratory. Can we combine STEAM project and the subject learning project? And can we make a super personalized classroom in the future using EdTech? We are going to start such a pilot project, and we would like to invite many EdTech companies from all over the world, not only Japanese company, but also, of course, Indian company or Israeli company. We are welcome for applicants. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's been very insightful, first of all, to see the transition that Japan is going through, and being an Israeli citizen, I would wish that we also think of such a transition and think of the future of the education system. And also thank you for sharing a very concrete business opportunity on stage. So I hope all of you have been very attentive and took notes, because these opportunities come and go, so take advantage of them.